Okay. कौन आप दो कल गा रहे सर पूछ क्या Okay. We will be starting with the program in 5 minutes. I request
the audience to be seated. Thank you. Right, correct. I think he's thinking something
while looking at my face.
We invite all the dignitaries to place us on the stage. ऐसे करें?
फिर है ना नाम बोलना अजीब है.
ऐसे बोलते हैं. Before we proceed, we extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries who have graced us with their presence today.
He's taking a photo of us. Madhuri, he's taking a photo of us. He that guy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Madhuri Marathe,
And I, Deboshmita Sen,
welcome you all. Teaching for Tomorrow, a readiness program. It is truly a pleasure to have such an esteemed gathering of educators, thought leaders, and professionals who are shaping the future of education.
Indeed, today, as we embark on this transformative journey, we aim to explore, discuss, and innovate ways to strengthen pre service teacher education and ensure our educators are future ready. This event also marks the launch of a comprehensive certificate course designed to provide a solid foundation in teaching practice for new teachers in India. This program also aligns with the new education policy NEP 2020 and integrates research-based best practices to prepare educators for diverse and dynamic classroom environment.
Before we proceed, we extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries who have graced us with their presence today. We have with us Mr. Arun Rajamani, Managing Director, Cambridge University Press and Assessment, South Asia, Mr. Vinay Sharma, Senior Vice President, International Education, Cambridge University Press and Assessment, South Asia, Mr. Ashish Arora, Senior Vice President, Direct to Consumer, Cambridge University Press and Assessment, Mr. Bharat Agarwal, President, Vishwakarma University, Dr. Trupti Agarwal, Chairperson, Vishwakarma Group of Schools, Director, Wisdom World Schools, and Vice President, Vishwakarma University, Professor Dr. Siddharth Jabde, Vice Chancellor, Vishwakarma University. I request all the dignitaries to grace us on the stage.
As a token of our appreciation, we now move to the felicitation of our distinguished guests.
We request Mr. Bharat Agarwal, President of Vishwakarma University, to felicitate Mr. Arun Rajamani, Managing Director, Cambridge University Press and Assessment, South Asia, with a token of our gratitude.
Next, we invite Dr. Trupti Agarwal, Chairperson, Vishwakarma Group of Schools and Vice President, Vishwakarma University, to felicitate Mr. Vinay Sharma, Senior Vice President, International Education, Cambridge University Press and Assessment, South Asia. We also invite Dr. Trupti Agarwal, Chairperson, Vishwakarma Group of Schools and Vice President of Vishwakarma University, to felicitate Mr. Ashish Arora, Senior Vice President, Direct to Consumer, Cambridge University Press and Assessment. We are truly pleased to have such distinguished personalities among us. Their expertise and vision will undoubtedly contribute to making this event a meaningful one.
Now, we move forward with our keynote addresses. Our first distinguished speaker is Mr. Bharat Agarwal, President of Vishwakarma University. Mr. Bharat Agarwal has played a pivotal role in shaping the academic landscape at Vishwakarma University.
Thank you. I just wanted to be conscious of time, and I don't think so that my introduction should be read over here. But thank you for the comparators for doing it. A very warm welcome, Arunji, meeting you after some time now. And I still remember the first meeting of ours. It was pleasure, and I think so it clicked from that day that we have to do something together. Mr. Vinay Sharma, welcome to Pune. Pleasure to have you over here. Mr. Ashish Arora, Mr. Lalit, and all dignitaries from the Cambridge system. Teachers, principals, dignitaries from various schools of Pune, and my colleagues at Vishwakarma University. A very warm welcome to all of you. The conversation of this today's event is actually today's event is an event for the sake, but it's actually a process that we are starting today because we are embarking on a journey to launch a certificate program for teacher training. Now, this subject is something very close to, especially my heart, because I think when I met Arunji, Lalit for the first time, I have been only talking about one subject. The stools to chalu ho rahe hai, or stools to chalu hone wale, because India is a growing country. Demographically, we are on the right side of the story. Um, and the aspiration of parents and students is also changing. We are seeing the huge trend towards the importance, a huge trend towards international education, and in that space, Cambridge schools are a preferred sort of schools from at least the metros, and now this story is going towards the semi metros as well. So all this is happening, then this is something that will, even without any of our efforts, this will happen. These schools बढ़ने वाले हैं, बच्चों का enrollment बढ़ने वाला है, and parents would prefer and like their wards to go into an international school. The challenge of the entire story lies about what do we do about the good quality education that can be provided through the schools, which can only happen through qualified teachers and qualified and trained teachers. I am thankful that the entire team over here from Cambridge uh, listened to me, and they accepted that this would be a challenge, and this is a challenge. In this changing times of today, I also think that teaching as a profession has also evolved. I don't know of what happened about 50 or 60 years back, but even when I remember my school teachers, passion was an important thing that a teacher should possess to be able to teach. Now, with again changing times, changing types of parents, changing government compliances and norms, and of course the changing behavioral patterns of students and children, passion alone is not enough, I would say, to become a competent and a perfect teacher. And apart from passion, we also need to have skills and other capabilities when you have to be ready to teach in a classroom. Because I have our fellow teachers from our principal from Universal Wisdom School, our vice principal from Universal Wisdom School over here, and they will tell, and I'm sure all of you all being teachers and principals of schools know this, that every day is different. Every day you go into the morning saying that this is my schedule from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And in the end, you find out that the schedule has been totally altered because something has happened which was out of your control. Apart from this, the other important component that goes into today's life of schooling is also technology. Students are exposed to technology, parents know much more technology than before, and we as teachers know it, but somehow are a bit behind a step in implementing it. So, combining skills, domain expertise, pedagogical changes that are required by the changes of student behavior and technology changes is something that we need to all adapt to. And I think that such initiative from Cambridge to train teachers is something that is going to give us results in the short as well as in a very long term. I compliment, sir, you and your entire team for taking this initiative and doing something like this. I don't think so any other board. I also work a lot. In fact, we'll work a lot in the higher education system. While we can talk about a lot of compliances and a lot of regulations around what we should do, there is nothing that is done very, very seriously and with a lot of focus on faculty development or teacher development, which you are doing. So my compliments to you for taking this initiative. I can assure you from the side of Vishwadharma University that we are doing this with our very, very open heart. We are launching the first batch now with the blessings of Cambridge system, and we are very sure that we'll do well as we are following the structure that has been decided for almost a long time between both of us, and we'll learn from this, and we'll of course keep on improving batch by batch. Feedback is most welcome because this is something new that we are wanting to do. So there would be always a lot of scope for changes and for improvement. So I request all the principals, all the teachers over here present to please share your feedback, share your comments with us, which really enhance the program and enhance our efforts. I once again thank the Cambridge team on trusting Vishwadharma University to be some sort of a partner with them for this program. And I wish this entire program the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bharat Agarwal, for your inspiring words and reminding us that today it is not just a launch of an event, but it is the initiation of a process that is going to take us places not only in the recent future, but also in the long road ahead. I now welcome Mr. Vinay Sharma, Senior Vice President at Cambridge University Press and Assessment. With his vast expertise, he has been instrumental in driving educational reforms and global best practices in teaching.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests, my colleagues, and all educators. Standing here in front of educators, it feels a bit overwhelming because I've always been a student on the other side of the class. And as Mr. Bharat Agarwal has very beautifully explained the entire perspective and the need for this program, so I think some of the things that I'll be talking might be a repetition, so please bear with me. And as I'm doing this, I actually recall my own school days and the kind of knowledge, the kind of work ethic that my teachers had built in me. Probably that laid a solid foundation of what I have achieved today and what I continue to do today. So that's the kind of pivotal role which teachers play in the evolution of a human being or a child, right? And Nelson Mandela rightly said, education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change societies. And who uses that weapon? Teachers are the people who uses that weapon to transform societies, right? So I think it is imperative for us to see how do we make sure that we empower and we develop those teachers. Now, if you look at India's education system, I think we probably have the distinction of having the largest number of schools. We have 250 million students who study across 1.5 million schools, and there are around 9.8 million teachers who are part of this system. And even if you look at with right to education, I think we have been able to solve the access problem for education. I mean, we have now more than 98% enrollment ratio in our, if you look at category from, let's say, age 6 to 14. So the access problem to a large extent is solved. But if you look at the quality problem, that is one area which we are really grappling with, the quality of education. I mean, if you read the ASER report, which has come latest, you see that more than 75% of class 3 students still can't read class 2 text. More than 2/3 of the students of class 3 can't do a simple arithmetic calculation, right? So I think the quality problem is something that we need to solve. And I think one of the key challenge in that quality problem is actually the quality availability of sufficient number of quality teachers in our schools. And some of the reasons for this is shortage of qualified teachers. We all know, all of us who run schools, our education system know the kind of shortage we face. Second is, I think, the teacher training that we have also needs to evolve with times, like Mr. Agarwal said. What worked 40, 50 years back or 20 years back will not work now. Then you have the curriculum, which needs continuously and systematic upgradation. So are we doing that, right? Then, of course, continuous professional development. I mean, this is an age of lifelong learning, right? All of us, I think the half-life of job is now nearly less than 5 years in any sector. So if we are not learning, then I think we are not growing. So the same applies to even the teaching profession, right? And the last but not the least, especially in the rural areas and tier 2, tier 3 towns, the working conditions and the infrastructure which is available for these teachers. So I think these are the large challenges we are grappling with when we look at the quality of education. And all this in turn affects the quality of outcomes, the quality of teaching, and the quality of learning that students gather. So even if you look at the UNESCO report, I mean the Teacher Task Force Global Report says that there's an urgent need for 44 million primary and secondary teachers in worldwide by 2030. India will need another 1.5 million teachers if we have to really implement the transformational reforms which NEP talks about, right? So how are we preparing these teachers for tomorrow? And in a world, I mean, if you look at the world today, I think we have already entered the 5th industrial revolution. I mean, this is an age where humans and machines will work together, which actually raises some very fundamental questions, philosophical, ethical questions of the role of human beings versus the role of AI versus the role of technology. And the children who are currently studying with us will enter this, when they'll enter their work age or careers 10, 15 years down the line, we don't even know what kind of world will they get into. So if we have to prepare our kids and students for that kind of world, which we are not even aware of, which is very complex, which will have complex challenges, So it is equally imperative for us as educators, as teachers, to see, are we in a position, are our teachers prepared to prepare these students for this kind of world? Are the teachers getting enough investment and enough training or enough inputs for them to comprehend and then inculcate those kind of qualities or those kind of skill set, those kind of mindset, those kind of attributes in our students, so that when they enter this world, they not only survive but thrive, because these students will become the future leaders and change makers of our society, right? So these are some of the things that we are today grappling with. Now, as I was mentioning, lifelong learning is something which is a necessity now. And again, same applies to teaching profession also. So we need to see whether as teachers, every 5 years, every 3 years, are we upgrading ourselves, given the changes which are happening in technology, in society, in trends towards careers, workforce. I mean, if you look at the latest World Economic Forum report, 40% of jobs will probably disappear by 2030, and new kind of jobs will appear. So do we know what kind of things we need to prepare our students for? Are we empowering our teachers to do that? So there is a real need for us to have a continuous teacher development programs and these kind of programs which make sure that teachers are continuously developed to be ready. Now at Cambridge, we firmly believe that if we have to empower the society with transformational education, we need to empower the educators, because these are the people who will ultimately shape these young minds. And we have a whole host of programs which we run, which are structured programs which work on different areas of teaching and learning so as to empower our teachers at different levels. And this is one such program, I think, which we are talking about, which actually takes it to a next level or a scale, where we are working with the partners like Vishwakarma University to create at a scale a program which will empower the B.Ed graduates and those who are currently pursuing B.Ed to be empowered with the skills and knowledge and capabilities required to be effective from day one. See, the challenge that we face with current education programs, sometimes it is a little away from the practical realities of. So the idea of this program is, how do we provide those kind of inputs so that these teachers become ready from day one? And this short duration program that we have, certificate program, it will actually focus on enhancing skills and capabilities of these teachers. And in addition, there will be internship opportunities, which will actually give them the practical exposure of teaching in the classrooms and actually doing what they are supposed to do after they finish their program. And this program is closely aligned and designed in alignment with NEP, which anyway talks of teacher development in alignment with latest pedagogies, assessment methods, comprehensive competency-based technology, learning. All that is incorporated in this, and of course an important aspect of social emotional learning. So the whole idea of the certificate program is to make sure that teachers are equipped with these kind of skills and capabilities so that they are ready to work or to teach well from day one. And I think I will not take any more time. And in conclusion, I would say launch of this teacher training program is a significant milestone in our journey towards educational excellence by working together with partners like Vishwakarma to create a program which can empower teachers at a scale and deliver quality training at a scale. And I think last, I will congratulate the entire team which has worked tirelessly and in such a short period of time to create this high quality program. And I wish the very best. And I look forward to a lot of teachers benefiting from this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay Sharma, for highlighting the role of teachers in shaping the futures of the students, and also how important it is to change and reform the education system as per the changing times.
As we move on to the next segment of our event, I request the dignitaries on the dais to move to the audience section. One of the most significant conversations in education today is about bridging the gap. Bridging the gap, strengthening pre-service teacher education for future-ready educators.
To explore this in depth, we have an esteemed panel led by our moderator, Dr. Lalit Prasad, Head of Training and Professional Development, South Asia at Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Joining him are Ms. Sarabjit Kaur, COO, Vishwakarma Group of Schools, Ms. Vandana Arora, Cambridge Ambassador and Head of Nahar International School, Mumbai, and Ms. Anna Dominguez, Principal, Universal Wisdom School, Pune.
We'll just take a couple of seconds. We'll rearrange this situation on the stage and we'll just start with the panel discussion.
I request the moderator and the panelists to please come to the stage.
Hello. Okay, good afternoon. So, what a day. What a day with a new certificate program for teachers. So, I'm a teacher myself, so the introduction actually sufficed because I'm very lucky and also fortunate to be amongst all teachers here and also my good friends. So, such a nice opportunity for me to be, I'm not a moderator though, but still I'm going to give some cues for getting their expert views for this conversation and also which is going to strengthen whatever our speakers actually spoke in terms of quality education and also how do we meet the demand that is existing in the school education, and therefore how do we also see the kind of progression of students to the world which is waiting for those students to get prepared. So I have three eminent speakers with me, and I know all of them because I've met them before as well. So I think what we're trying to capture today is we also use some word something like teachers of tomorrow. So we also have synonym words for those which are new age teachers, new age learners. So we are trying to unfold and also decode what this means and also probably understand as a teacher, so how much preparation is needed to get into the level of these new age learners and also bring the kind of conceptual clarity alongside the skills that they demand and also the technology which are available for best learning. So there are three sub-themes that we have for our conversation. We will talk about demand and supply, and also we'll also talk about the quality in the teacher education programs and also how some of those newer reforms which are taking place are going to support that. And we'll also talk about when we start developing such programs, we also talked about, I think the speakers spoke about the importance of internship and also the practice teaching. So we'll just try to understand those areas. So coming to you, Vandana. So my first question would be that what are those policy changes or institutional reforms that you think could help that can also address the growing mismatch between the teacher supply and demand?
So before I reach to the reforms, I think it's important for us to understand the gap a little. Why is that gap and where is the gap? I believe there's a huge gap in curriculum structure of teacher training. To be frank, you said we are creating teachers of tomorrow, and here we are, teachers of yesterday. I say yesterday because many of us have some skills and attributes which we are carrying from past, and most of them are a product of our socio-cultural system, not necessarily our intellectual system. We are still filling the gap to provide intellectual abilities to kids, and we are not understanding that these kids don't need it. The curriculum need to be really looked at to understand what is the need of children, what is the need of future. Are they looking for intellectual support from teachers, or they already have it, but they are looking at social, emotional, cultural, and attributional support from the teachers? And is our curriculum preparing them for it? The second gap which I would like to address is the pedagogical gap. Basically looking at when a teacher enters the class, she is prepared to enter again in the class to believe that she knows everything. Whereas she has kids in the class who know more than her. So the first week itself is a challenge for her where her confidence is shattered. And I'm talking about the classroom of today, right from the age group of 9 till 18. I would still give a little benefit to below that. But after that, these kids who are so resourceful with knowledge, so resourceful with awareness, and so resourceful and curious to know more, are confused, but at the same time eager to learn. Is this teacher understanding their confusion? Is this teacher understanding their eagerness? Does she has an ability to understand that in my class of 40, each one is coming from a household where expectation and fears are coming with him or her in my classroom? Is she able to deal with it? So this is what is creating a structural unemployment in this sector. And definitely the reforms which are needed is in the field of developing a better structure in the curriculum and developing a very different approach to prepare teachers as compared to the approach for preparing any other professional. Because other professions still requires your intellectual self to be at work. Teachers need their social, intellectual, emotional and physical self, everything in the classroom. So if we can do that through these programs which we are creating, I think we are doing a great favor to our students.
Wonderful. So actually, Vandana sums it very well. In fact, my next talk is actually detailing about the program itself. I think she made it very easy for me because she spoke about those 4 components, which I'm going to slightly elaborate later. But still, I like the point that you're saying, how do we approach this in a structural manner? And also probably the reforms from a pedagogical strategy and also techniques. Those are gaps that we need to identify. One is, of course, on hand we have the mismatch between the number of teachers needed in schools and also the number of teachers who are prepared. But still, the gaps are even more complex. For example, as an academician, as a pedagogist, I think we need to understand, though the teachers are available, are they able to cope up with the newer demands and also the generation that we're talking? Thank you, Vandana. I'll come back to you slightly later. Anna, just getting on to the quality of these programs and also the education itself. How can NEP 2020 focus on interdisciplinary learning along with integrating technology and digital more? And also, how do you think that we can embed all this in education programs?
Well, as Ms. Vandana said, the gap between what the teachers used to need to be good teachers, effective teachers, and what you need now to be a good teacher has changed a lot. When I see the NEP as a wonderful opportunity. It's really exciting for me, even as a foreigner, to witness that willingness and the vision of a whole country to take that leap forward, to give the children the best education adjusted to the current world. The current world and the future, an uncertain future when we see that everything is changing. So now the challenge is for the teachers. Really, how do we prepare them when I am not prepared and when I don't really know how it is going to look like for them or for me, actually, when things in 6 months, what I learned is obsolete already. So for those teachers who are starting in the profession, who need those trainings, the teaching training programs have to be updated and structured in a manner that all these new components are present. So for me, the times of rote learning are gone by. So now, how do I empower these teachers to learn about AI integration in the classroom, digital classrooms, how to use that technology? It's not only being aware that it's there, it's not that I know how to use it, it's that if I know how to teach it and how to use it effectively so it enhances the experience, to get the students interested in what I'm teaching, in what I'm doing, and make them curious. So when we use the concept of this lifelong learner for the students, I think for the teachers that is even more relevant. We need to be lifelong learners. So that is only possible if the learning, the teaching, training modules that I have are accessible to me, are useful in terms of enhancing what I need to do, and that these universities and programs that are available, that they have mentoring possible, that I can ask my questions. It's not only that I download material and I study it, that I can apply. I have somebody to check on what I'm doing, give me feedback, offering networking opportunities for me, not only with new teachers who are being trained, but also from seasoned educators that may also be on the way of learning. So I think incorporating that in a systematic manner in the teaching training programs will be very useful to take that leap that is required.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So one is Anna touched upon the repertoire of things that the teachers should be aware of, and also probably how they can curate some of those activities for teachers themselves that they, when they enter the classroom, they should be ready with. And yes, we all, and the whole set of speakers also mentioned, we are also looking at we don't know what the demand is further for the students when they grow up, and also when they face the world of employment, and also, I mean, more demanding there. And we have to prepare them. So for preparing them, I think we have to prepare more. And one of the words that Anna also brought in terms of creating opportunity for mentoring within the ecosystem. So that's a very interesting one. So I think the teacher training programs that is available needs to take cognizance of this, and also how do you bring these parameters, and not to forget the technology. So how do we integrate that? So these are some of the points that you touched upon, which are very, very important, Anna. I'll come back to you again. So Sarabjit, if I can also kind of check with you that we develop a lot of programs, teacher training programs, and also our the Bachelor of Education programs, and also Masters of Education programs, even the diploma program that existed earlier, all had components of theoretical and also practical. So when I touch upon this practical area, so according to you, how important is the internship or practice teaching in these programs? And also, what are your views that in terms of if we want to kind of implement this internship, if you want to call it as meaningful internship, so what are those key factors that you want to bring in this conversation?
So Lalit, the importance of internship versus theory and how to integrate them both. I'll share my experience more than 2 decades ago when I first entered the classroom during my internship when I was doing B.Ed. All the wonderful theories I learned, and the gyan and all the wisdom in the classes, and I thought I'm ready. And when I saw that pulsating energy in the class, it all vanished. And my first thing was, how do I handle them? Teaching comes later. So to quote John Keats, nothing becomes real till it is experienced. So when we talk about experiential learning and real life problems and real life solutions with children, if we don't have exposure as educators before entering the class, we cannot, it cannot reach the students. One is as simple as that. It is very important to have it in a structured manner to address to what you asked. Because first of all, when we say we should have all the freedom, yes, but without structure, sometimes for new people who come without any experience and exposure, it becomes a very empty space to work in. So that structural approach to begin with is absolutely required. Be it lesson planning, step by step. What is the logistics? Then how to execute it. We talk about pedagogies and different pedagogies, but what topic can I integrate with one particular, pedagogy or other? It comes with trial and error. I used to take 4 sections of 9 in the beginning of my career. My 9A and D classes were absolutely different because my experience in A taught me something that I implemented in B, then C, and then D. So some things come with experience, and having a structured approach, I think it's a very important thing. Lesson planning, delivery, observations, having a mentor who can help you with some predictable challenge where I can feel lost as a mentee or as an intern. While we do study all the psychological theories and how the children grow and what age groups bring what beautiful things and what challenges and how to deal with that, it all comes in theory. But actually when we enter the classroom, many times teachers miss that how much impact can I make or I'm capable of making on the children. My one gesture can stay with them for lifelong when we talk about the social emotional learning. So the culture of the classroom, how to set up that comes with experience. The climate of the classroom, how to set up that comes with an experience. What tone can I set that my students feel safe with me? That my students are okay with putting up questions? How calm is my class? And also to, the mutual teaching and learning. It's no more teaching only. It's teaching and learning. So I think that structured approach is really required, and internship should be non-negotiable in all the teaching programs.
Wonderful, great. I'm going to pick one point in terms of the structure, the internship, and also the second important point is mentor-guided internship. I think these are very, very important, powerful, profound kind of a thought process that needs to exist, and also I'm sure that exists in some of the programs. Of course, it exists in the certificate program that we have developed. I'm going to talk more about it. So wonderful. I think internship should be an integral part of the teacher education because you want to translate those theories into classroom. Unless until you know what works and also what is that you have learned, so then it's going to be slightly difficult to comprehend in totality. So just coming back to Vandana. So I have a question in terms of how do you think that alternative certification pathways could be leveraged more to bring in more qualified professionals in the workforce itself? So do you think that if they're going to be a disruptive way of doing things and also getting more opportunities for aspirant trainers to get qualified, and also therefore we are going to solve the problem of this demand and supply?
So if you look at the structure of schools, we start dealing with 3-year-olds and we are working till the time they are 18. Now each age group require a different kind of individual in the classroom. So when we are looking at alternative measures, there is an area where we could train the teachers by mentorship and guidance and teaching them theories and bringing internship so that they can relate to an age group which requires that. But as we look at further, we look at the age group of say 14 to 18, they require a very different strategy, a very different structure, because those 14 to 18-year-olds actually today have an ability and understanding and knowledge of today's 30-year-olds, thanks to the exposure, right? So in the classroom, if we can have professionals entering, if we can have people from university entering, if there are flexible ways of they coming and sharing knowledge in terms of application, in terms of analysis, in terms of how the knowledge is going to be used in today's workplaces. These are the areas where these kids would definitely relate to. And they would need those kind of teachers in the classroom, which might not trained by a teacher training. You need people who are trained differently, who have seen the world differently, who have experienced the world differently than being only with children. So those kind of certifications definitely are needed. You need more leadership trainings for schools. You need more executive training programs for schools. You need professionals in school to move out and work, get opportunity to have some kind of internship with corporate workplaces, to understand aspects of or the questions which enter into their classroom. Say, for example, if I'm talking, especially from a Cambridge point of view, because I'm a Cambridge teacher, if I have to teach law to my 16 to 18-year-olds, I might know the theory of law, but the application can come from a lawyer. So how do I make a lawyer enter into my classroom? Every school needs that. If I'm teaching a subject like global perspectives, if I have not traveled across the world, if I have not experienced different cultures, would I be able to bring that in the classroom? Only based on the theory and the knowledge which I have gained. Whereas I might have student in my classroom who has started traveling at the age of 1. Right? That's the changing India. Because India has so many other aspects which maybe no other country would have. So those are the kind of certifications or trainings or maybe some kind of tie-ups between different organizations and schools would surely help us to equip our schools better and teachers in the classroom better if they can have those kind of collaborations.
By and large, you're saying that there needs to be more capsulated, and also probably we need to get these kind of diverse understanding by the teachers so that they are also certified. When I say they want to get certified, because it has to be structured, it has to be from a authentic source that they get certificate. And it is not, by the way, it is a kind of a deliberate move by the candidate or teacher to get the certificate, so that it enhances the learning situation and opportunity in the classroom. And also, it keeps a tab on the developments that's happening, because I think Anna's point was also that it's no more only teaching. It is a lot of learning. I think Sarabjit also mentioned, and you also alluded to that. So I think, how do we also keep a tab on what the students are learning otherwise also? One is inside school and outside school. And what we do inside school or inside classroom also is more receptive. And also they become more receptive when we are getting these kind of attributes together. And also as a teacher, I need to possess all this.
I need to align with the requirement of the real world. And for those certification, I think a teacher need to be exposed more. So those certifications which are exposing her more, say with a cultural exchange, understanding the structures of learning in another classroom, understanding the structures of learning in maybe a college, understanding the structure of learning, collaborative learning in a workplace. Those experiences definitely will enrich the teachers and make them more, students would ask for those teachers now. Because in that age group which I just mentioned, they are not looking at anyone who's going to provide them with knowledge. Because today there are more resources and availability to gain knowledge. Application of knowledge and usage of knowledge is what our students are looking at. And are the teachers getting equipped to bring that in the classroom? That would be post they have passed the first stage of, say, 5 years of teaching and saying, what more can I bring in the class? And then those certifications of enrichment could be developed. And that could be of varied types.
I get that. Absolutely. I'm completely, I think that's where I think this certificate program is also getting into, but still I think, yes, very great points made. Just coming back to Anna, so we spoke about the teacher professional development and also whether we can get more of those kind of interdisciplinary learning and also integrating digital and technology, etc., etc. So according to you, what could ensure the continuous professional development for a teacher besides the initial training program that the teacher would have? So for example, a teacher wants to get into a school. So there is a prerequisite for a teacher to complete some training program. So besides that, how do we ensure that both the school as well as the individual continues the urge to complete or be in the track of the continuous professional development?
Well, when we said about creating that buzz and that interest for the learning, so it's not only about learning to use AI in the classroom or how to use a digital board. It goes beyond that, and I think, again, bringing the NEP to the picture. I think the great development is not about that, because anyway, the world is developing and India is ahead in all this, technology. So it's more about how the skill-based assessment. I think that's the key. So how really they are coming to making people employable, making people ready for the world. So how do you teach the teacher? That's the thing. If I am telling the teacher that now you have to assess communication skills, collaboration skills, research skills, critical thinking, but how do I assess? Well, what I've been doing now is we say in terms of percentages and marks. How do I shift? How do I learn to use that? So using tools like a web quest, for example, can be something really good to implement in a class. So I am teaching those skills that the students are also aware that they are learning beyond what is a textbook or is what is reading on a website. So the teachers need to be empowered to do that. How do we do? How to create that? By, again, in these programs, there has to be a systematic approach to methodology. Technology applied to methodology. When Sarajit was saying about that experience, it took me back also to my years. You wonder, what were you doing to do? I cried. I went out of the classroom and I cried when it was over. I say, all my life I thought I wanted to do this, and now no, I'm not sure I want. Say, nobody listened to me, they were doing their own thing. So it was that process for me to learn. I say, with that real experience combined with methodology, combined with mentorship from people who have that experience before. So all that combined gives a really powerful mix for a teacher. So they will become employable, but they will sustain in the school. They will not run away to say, this is not my profession at all, I'm scared of all this, I cannot do all that. And we had the experience of teachers coming for the first time in a school. We've all had and say, I didn't know they were so hard. I didn't know I had to do the planning. I didn't know I had to document this. I don't know how to talk to parents, for example, or give feedback, write reports. So all these things need to be taught, need to be learned. So when you come in the profession, you will struggle a bit at the beginning, yes. It's a learning for all. And you have your ups and downs, but at least you know what you are expected to do and how you are expected to do it. I think that's the important point.
Good. So if that urge in me is always there that what I need to be doing and also what I need to be doing correctly and also what should I learn in terms of the newer things to be doing all this more effectively, then I think this will get continued, and also probably that becomes a pathway for continuous professional development. And some of the points that you also mentioned is ongoing mentorship. So these are in-house professional development opportunities that we can bring. So the in-school or in-house mentorship is something that has been talked about, and also we also call it as apprenticeship and things like that in various other kind of professions. But still, mentorship which is very, very important, because it's going to guide and also put things into a proper perspective when it comes to a professional growth of a teacher. Just going back to Sarabjit, that you also alluded to mentor-guided the internship and also practice, etc., etc. So, how do you think that if you're going to structure a mentorship program and also we start implementing that into the ecosystems that we are talking, into the schools, etc., do you think that is going to be more supportive for these interns who actually want to step into the teaching force or become a part of this teaching force? According to you, what are your thoughts? So, is it going to be very useful for us to do a very structured process in this kind of area?
To begin with, yes. Structure to begin with, and then we find the flexibility on the ground, depending on the learning curve that the mentor and mentee is on. For the structure, I would say it is very imperative to draw particular goals, because internship comes with some goals to be achieved by the learning objectives, as we say in the lesson planning. So that goal setting is very important, and then the milestones that needs to be achieved. Those things give a hook to both mentor and mentee. What direction are we working in? One is that. Second is more and more opportunities for the mentees to observe the lessons that are delivered by mentors and even peers. Peer observation also teaches us a lot, I believe. And not only delivering, but then not only observing, but then delivering the lessons, the micro teaching that needs to be done. And then starts the feedback loop. Feedback which is ongoing, which is constructive, aligning with the goals that we are aiming to achieve. Feedback compiled with reflection, because true learning happens when we reflect, plus the other person is telling. We internalize only when we reflect on it. Otherwise, it doesn't get into our system. So feedback, reflection, all these things are very important. A fine mentor can turn the course of the journey to a very, I would say, the leap which a mentee can never imagine. A right mentorship program is very important. For a new person coming in the professional field with no prior experience, what seems to be a mammoth task right now, a person with experience has already crossed many such hurdles. So the experience and the wisdom that the mentor brings and how much mentee can learn and soak in from there is a very important companionship, I would say. And it goes hand in hand. Observing, learning, feedback, review, reflection, how to, today's classrooms are very diverse. Today's classrooms are when every individual comes with their own history, their own backgrounds, and we as educators need to be very, very sensitive. So how to deal with that diversity? How to do differentiation in the classroom with the learners of different levels. Even experienced teachers sometimes struggle with that. And there comes the role of continuous professional development. But if somebody is equipped, at least to begin with, all these things, how to implement, how to break down the task, how to have that inclusive classroom atmosphere, and how to do the differentiation, I think a lot of battles that will be fought in the real classrooms have already been taken care of. So a very well structured to begin with, I always say. And then it's, because every person, structure I would say, Lalit, it can go as bare minimum. Then it is the journey between the mentor and mentee. And it is very important, even the little bit of things matter a lot. One of my own, again, internship experience, I was teaching in grade 6. I've made a very fancy lesson plan, all the aids and history, not much interesting otherwise, but I tried my best. And I was supposed to teach Eightfold Path by Buddha. And when there comes the word right before every path, right? And I got confused and baffled. Well, how do I tell this 10, 11-year-olds what is right? It's subjective. And there is when my mentor helped me that how to break it down. So it comes down to even the finest level of the subject knowledge delivery. Forget about the bigger things. So that repo, that mentorship, that hand-holding can actually be, leave a lifelong impact on the mentees.
Absolutely. I think, though I said these are sub-thematic areas, but I think these are all very tightly interconnected with each other as we speak and also as we unfold the intricacies of what this actually means into. So I think that brings into one of the important thing that is running in my mind. So we bring in all these concepts. We kind of enhance the quality of the professional development. We bring in strong components like mentorship, and we also try to address in a more disruptive way in terms of how do we meet the supply to the demand that exists. So I just want to bring out your perspectives in terms of how important would be the community of practice that we want to kind of nurture and build on. For example, there could be all this we do and also in different streams. So the teachers also need to get in-house mentorship as well as some information, not only knowledge, maybe experience sharing outside their own school. I think that's what I mean when I say community of practice. So for each of you, in your own experiences and perspective, how important is this community of practice? So I would start from anybody?
Follow the
Okay.
flow. Yeah, so I think this community of practice definitely plays a very important role because, say for example, if you are being working in a school and you get an opportunity to go to another school to observe, not just your own school, what you're observing is a culture. You're not observing the student and the teacher and the lesson. You're observing the impact of the culture. And India being so diverse, it matters a lot. Because if I'm saying I enter into a Pune classroom from Mumbai, I would see the impact of the Pune requirement, the parental requirement, the student requirement, and the school culture, which is embedded in a thought process which is led by people for a period of time. So what a teacher understands there is that, oh, I'm doing it in my class, but tomorrow if I have a student who's coming from a similar kind of environment, do I need to tweak my lesson? Do I need to bring something different in my lesson? So between schools, collaboration and openness to visit, especially while we were looking at internships. How many places are they going for internship? Are they sticking to one place? Are they sticking to one kind of school? Because today I might be teaching a school where students are coming from one socio-economic strata. Whereas tomorrow I'll be teaching another school where students are coming from another socio-economic strata. Because India has those layers. So looking at those complexities in our teacher training, if we can bring in this kind of exchange. Beyond that, maybe I'll give you an example of, say, an online exchange, which happens with another country. Again, being a Cambridge school, it becomes a little easier for us that I have an online exchange between a UK school. The students of UK school are interacting with my school and the teachers beforehand are interacting to do the planning. And they are bringing a very different perspective on ground, where few teachers of mine are saying, oh, you know, I have seen that kind of temperament in my class and that requirement in my class, but I never understood that requirement of a student. Today, I can see it from the perspective of another culture. So those aspects, I think, are extremely important for us to bring in our trainings, because again, we are dealing with human beings. Technology definitely will play an important role, but it's going to be just another tool. And that tool, even if the teachers don't teach, children have it with them. It's just one more thing, like paper and pen, today I have this. It's not important for me as a teacher, but what's important for me is the people I'm dealing with, the human beings I'm dealing with. And am I equipped to deal with human beings? And these human beings who are coming from various situations, various needs. And those needs in India today are as same as need in US and a need in Sri Lanka or in Africa, because our classrooms have all types.
Great. Anna, what are your views? I think she touched upon some of those profound areas in terms of how do we make this exchange more, what do you say, more practical, and also can it create some impressions on teachers for actually increasing and enhancing their teaching capabilities and also probably learning environment. So according to you, with one or two examples, if you have in mind, so how can the community of practice be very, very useful? So my question is also in conjunction with the programs that we do as a professional development. It could be a certificate course, it could be anything for that matter. How do we sustain the interest of the teacher to keep learning more outside the school as well?
Well, the sharing of best practices, I think that's a key element. When you say about these teacher gatherings that happen from different boards and different in different subjects, or it is really enriching how people are open to collaborate, how they bring what they work in their schools. And sometimes you say, it won't work in mine, just for whatever reason. When you say the parent body can be different, the cultural references, anything. For me, as a kind of a globetrotter, I've seen that what I said, what worked in a country will not work maybe in another. These are activities that I can do here that I wouldn't think of doing somewhere else. Or maybe, when you say the learning, my sense of humor. So we are sarcastic. And sometimes here took me very literally sometimes. So it was they used to stare at me and say, "Is this serious?" She said, telling me that, and I said, "No, I'm joking. This is my joke, seriously." So that adjustment is very important, and it creates that interest to know why are you doing things differently. So when teachers understand and see, you learn to take what you can use, what will be good for your improvement. And you will not use the other, but it will remain with you. And maybe in some other context, you will be able to apply. So that's, I think, one of the keys is not seeing professional development as a tick on the box. I have to do this because I have to do this. So when they see, when I apply to a school, my CV, I will say this, oh, good. That later means nothing. And we've seen when they go to a demo and they start working, I say, this is not what there is a mismatch between what they have done or learned and what they are really practicing. So really, if we do see professional development as a joyful journey, really, it's something that will make me grow, that will make me a better teacher, not only in terms of my knowledge of the subject, that is when you say the least important, I say in terms of the human connection, in terms of how you bond with people to make them willing to learn more. They want to impress you. They want to, when I tell the students, I say, ask me something that I have to tell you, wait, I will look for the answer. I don't know, let me look at it. That's when it's happening, and they really try hard to do it, then is when you are successful. But that is, you have to learn it yourself. So to make it fun and to make it, meaningful. You see, the emotional content there is something critical.
Wonderful, wonderful. Those are important inputs. So I think to make the learning joyful and also owning the learning, I think you have to own the learning. That is very, very important. So I think this processes will definitely be very, very useful. Sarabjit, according to you, so, and also I think that's what I said when I wanted to start this. So I'm fortunate to have experienced teachers sitting with me and also, of course, principals. So according to you, what are those areas that we want to also curate for bringing the expertise from the community? And also, it's a shared experience. We want to make those individual experiences as a shared experience. So what is that thought that you have in your mind for making this happen?
Yes, so Vandana ma'am spoke about collaboration with different schools and visiting and exchanging ideas, and I'll build upon it about how professional development and it's an ongoing journey, how different cultures bring together. I would speak more about how much we have to learn from each other in one institute only. And sometimes what happens, it's, we live in an agile world. We will live in a moving world. We come from different experience, we come from different exposures. Sometimes when we come to blend with what is there, status quo, we lose or ignore the side that we can bring in and enrich the status quo. So leaders have this responsibility, I believe, that to see who is bringing what as best practice with the experience that they have had in their journey in outside India, different schools, different cities, because it is so easy to connect. Being humans, we thrive on connection. Our school, Universal, is an international school. Vandana ma'am also, we're having a lot of international students coming in. And we kind of, divide the inquiries sometimes. Because myself being lived in America, I understand the mindset, I understand the culture, I understand what chord how will I strike the chord with the parent? Or how will the child understand what culture are they coming from? I'll be able to connect better when it's Europe, Anna takes over. So your own in-house expertise, sometimes we miss, because to blend in the culture that is there, we opened the profession, when we set up our PD, professional development calendar, we asked teachers, does anybody has expertise in these? And we were surprised to see how many of them have had some inputs in one or the other. One teacher lived in one particular country, and that's the festival we were celebrating. We gave her the responsibility to curate the assembly. So as we move beyond the borders and beyond the schools, I think our own walls also have a powerhouse of all these things that they can bring on the table, and we can learn a lot from each other and value those expertise that they bring to us.
Wonderful. So the taking side on the in-house expertise, and also how do we bring that learning. In fact, one of the curious things that came to my mind is, we don't see all teachers teaching in classrooms as colleagues, because we are very busy with our own work. Because if I and Vandana are working in the same schools, when Vandana is teaching, I should also teach a different class. But when a teacher teaches, I think the teacher brings in and unfolds a lot of those kind of expertise that the teacher has. And only thing that could be understood is by students. And now, I think the important point that Sarabjit brought down is, how do we get this onto maybe like circle times or whatever it is, and also probably get this pushing for each individual, say, to actually give it to the community of teachers, and also therefore make it very enriching and also fruitful conversation. So I'm also mindful of time, but still I want to, because you're all leaders of the school, within the school itself. So my ask would be that if you want to make such initiatives of continuous professional learning and such activities as continuous, so as a leader, so what are those important steps that you need to take so that your professional learning is also taking place, as well your whole team is in that pathway of continuous professional learning? What are those tips that you want to at least share in this group and also share with us in this forum now, so that we also mull over it and also see what can work? Like, I take Anna's point that everything will not work for everybody. Maybe one of those examples or thought process that you would have would definitely strike a chord, someone in this room or maybe later as well. So what are those areas? I first pass this question to Anna, then take it to Vandana. Is that okay?
So, very important for leaders at the top to upgrade themselves, upskill themselves, because only then, when we lead a team, they should be able to look up to us. As simple as that. And when we stop learning, I think it topples down. That should not happen. So we have to make a conscious effort to upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves. There is a fixed learning that goes, the professional development calendar that goes, yes, which takes care of the things that we can foresee. But there are many trainings that come in that calendar in middle of the year the things which we failed to foresee. A new situation came, a new thing happened, and a training is required, and the staff needs to be on board. So not every training can be planned. As I said, we live in a VUCA world, agile world, moving world. So we cannot have everything in sealed containers. We are also in that age where we are, we talk about teachers being passionate at our times. I think it's still a hard-driven profession. And we cannot put in tight containers the professional development and the personal development. When I got my licensure to teach in the state of Illinois, there was to retain that license every year, I had to do 40 hours of mandatory professional development. But I was so impressed to see that that professional development was very open-ended in many terms. It took care of my personal development also in those hours. An Excel sheet, if I'm not comfortable making, that's my personal development, but enhancing my professional experience as well. So it all goes hand in hand, blog writing, blog reading, watching this documentary. It doesn't have to be always a very session planned, mentor-led kind of a training with these particular outcomes. It is, very hands-on and very much individualized and personalized as well. So some trainings take care of everybody and some are my own journey, my staff's own journey. And we make sure that teachers write those personal goals as well, because we don't come as only professionals to our jobs. We come as people, me as a whole, with my emotions and my learnings and as a person, as a human being. And if I don't take care of that self, my professional self will not take care of itself. So we develop as a whole, we call it holistic development for children, so is for us. So I don't think we live in that watertight compartments anymore. And these go both hand in hand, individualized plus for group.
Wonderful. And you want to add?
I'd say that the ability to take feedback as well is important for that development and growth. How do I realize that even being in a leadership position, my ideas are not necessarily the best? And I have to be ready to listen to others and to learn from others. Right? And if I'm not flexible enough to see, well, you're right, and let's take your idea and not mine, then you will not help the organization to grow, and you are not helping yourself to grow. In that way, in the offset that we had not long back, Trupti Ma'am did a very beautiful exercise in terms of setting our personal goals. I say, write them and keep them. But next year, when we meet again in this offset, I want to see how you fulfill them. They don't have to be professional only. One of mine was keep learning Hindi. That is my challenge now. So I'm now trapped that I said that, so now I have to learn.
Luckily, I'm not a Hindi guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, they're seeing my efforts and they laugh, but slowly I'm getting there. I will be. So in a year, she will see the changes. So I think those setting the goals, as I said, personal and professional, help a lot, and again, being able to learn from others. That's very important.
So I think I agree with both of them when it comes to learning professional and personal both. What I would say is that there are two very important areas where all of us have to learn. One is from our team. And everyone in our team, not just the teachers, but the students, the parents, even our security personnel, lot of people we work with in schools. So are we constantly learning from every individual, and are we constantly interacting with every individual? Because again, it's a world of human development. And one individual, one human can't have everything. So one is that learning, which is coming from the team. Second, definitely is the learning which is coming from the areas of expertise, which do come from the best practices. So I do believe that being a part of and I'm trying to be as honest as I can, but don't want to offend anyone here, is from the world of research and academic development which happened in the developed world. We agree that we are moving very fast. We agree we have a lot to share. But there's a lot of research in human development, in human psychology, in child development, and the sensitivity towards children, which at least us as Indians, we have to learn from outside, beyond our country. I very strongly believe in it.
Wonderful. No, great thoughts, and also I like the idea. So the leaders needs to show the way for the team, and also it's not only just leading from the front, but they become a part of the team and also understand those learning. Like Anna said, that I may be completely, not knowing things, so it's not wrong in learning from our peers. So wonderful. On that note, and also touching back to your point in terms of we need to learn. So there are a lot of things that we are excelling, and also there are a lot of things that we might want to also bounce back to people, and also, or bounce it to people, not back, bounce it to people, and also say that this is what we're doing, and also it's working very well with us. It could be anything for that matter, and also tell the world that we are there. So on that note, I want to thank all three of you for your contribution for this panel discussion. One big round of applause for this wonderful, eminent ladies here. And thanks for your time, and all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What an enriching discussion. First and foremost, I would like to thank Mr. Lalit Prasad for wonderfully and fantastically moderating the entire panel discussion. He navigated in such a manner where he not only asked important questions, but also very relevant question when it comes to teacher training. So a big round of applause for Dr. Lalit Prasad for being a fantastic moderator of the panel discussion. Next, I would also like to extend my gratitude to Ms. Sarabjit Kaur, Ms. Vandana Arora, and Ms. Anna Dominguez for answering all the questions with such nuanced knowledge. And also we realize the kind of expertise they come from, the kind of cultural value they add to the discussion. We are truly, truly pleased to have such a wonderful panel discussion today. Now, before we head on to the next part of the event, we would need some time to connect on the web portal for the next part of the channel. Yes.
Okay. So, just to fill in some time, so are there any questions or any thoughts that about whatever we kind of spoke? I want to hear at least one or two things from this crowd in terms of what your thoughts are in the thematic areas that we also spoke about. Show of hands. Oh, show of hands for directing that. No, show of hands for us. Anybody? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Lalit and myself has been in the Cambridge Forum many times before. I'm Dr. Diptesh here with Cambridge for last almost 15 years now, and had been in global education across the globe. And very wonderfully, all the three eminent ladies and Dr. Lalit have brought on all the points. One thing, wherever I travel and talk about education anywhere and academics, the three major things that comes into my mind is programs, procedures or processes, people, and partnership. The 4 Ps make the entire square, and at the center is the pupil. So all the 5 Ps. So programs, procedures or processes, partnerships, and
Pre-service training program.
yes,
Also.
So that's very important, and partnership is very important, and from with the real world and the classrooms or the colleges or where the teachers are coming from, and which pathway we are going. We are becoming global citizen, and everything is on our palm. So it's very difficult for teachers and educators. We don't use the word teachers also anymore. Educators or felicitators are the better words to be used, just inside and outside the classroom, because you have to connect to the world. And I think such kind of training, or such kind of a prerequisite kind of a structured training and the real world experience will go a long way to build that square and enlarge its perimeter and reaching across the world. I think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those P's will definitely help. Any other thoughts? Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah. A very good evening to everybody. I'm Dr. Chhabi Sena Chavan, Dean of Faculty of Commerce and Management at Vishwakarma University. My question, is it is a little bit more basic, but something I felt was very relevant in today's context. So when we talk about teaching, and when we talk about NEP-enabled teaching, which means we are being student-centric or pupil-centric, as it's called. We also understand that there are multiple intelligence that exist in pupils, right? And some thoughts, from the panelist on that. So how are we capturing multiple intelligence? How are we designing the curriculum? How are we assessing multiple intelligence in pupils in order to, empower them? Is something which, it'll be great if we could have thoughts on that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting me in the spot. In fact, I thought that I'm going to hear a lot from you. So anyway, I'll attempt to actually provide a kind of a structure. I'm sure that practitioners will definitely do. So when we are practicing Bloom's taxonomy in the classroom, it itself kind of forces itself into the multiple intelligence to a larger extent. So therefore, we also request the teachers to make lesson plan based on the Bloom's taxonomy, and more so on the higher level of skills or those thinking structures that we have right now. So therefore, whatever programs that we are doing, including this certificate program, we consciously have that kind of a consideration where we touch upon these multiple intelligence. And there is also another concept, I don't know how many of you know, it's called as multiple nature. So intelligence is mind, nature is our behavior also, how we behave, and also how can that transcend itself into personality is multiple nature. So both, I think, together, we take it together whenever we do programs like this. I'm going to pause here. Our group director, Rod Smith, has joined. And over to you, Rod. Thank you very much for joining. You're on mute.
I'm on mute.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, that's all right then. Okay, sorry about that. Well, look, thanks everybody for your patience. As ever, a technical challenge to join the meeting today. So I apologise for being a few minutes late. I've been trying to get in for the last few minutes, but anyway, I'm really glad that I'm here now and able just to say a few words to kind of to recognise this auspicious occasion. So. I'm really delighted. Are you happy for me just to kick off now? I'm really delighted to be asked to join virtually for the launch of this pre-service teacher training program in partnership with Vishwakarma University. It really is a very important day for us, a very special day for us, and I know also for our partners over there, and what we can do to support our schools and community of educators in India. At Cambridge, as I'm sure you know, our vision is to build the world's most trusted teaching, learning and assessment community. And in that respect, we are very proud to be the largest provider of international education in the world. So the partnership that you're launching today, I hope you recognise, is with somebody that is committed to this area and probably the leading provider of international education in the world. We work with 10,000 schools in over 160 countries and have been running exams for over 160 years. Exams look very different 160 years ago, but certainly over the course of that period, we've built now to being the provider for over 1 million students globally take our exams every year. Increasingly, we're determined to do more than just provide exams. We provide resources And importantly, in the context of what we're talking about today, we're providing professional development to support teachers at every step of their journey. India is an incredibly important region for Cambridge. In India at the moment, we work with almost 750 schools already, and this number is growing every year. And I think it's growing because of India's exciting and dynamic market, where demographic shifts are changing the face of the country and are driving an increasing interest in international education. We recognise that schools and parents and teachers have choice, and have a choice of many different approaches to education these days, but actually we're very find it very heartwarming that actually the decision to deliver international education continues to be one that more and more schools are taking in India. I think in line with NEP 2020, Cambridge has always valued teacher professional development and capacity building as a key pillar of our growth in India and actually worldwide. And as India's educational landscape evolves, the need for skilled, adaptable teachers who can meet the demands of 21st century learner is more critical than ever. We have professional development qualifications, PDQs, which provide internationally benchmarked certification and meet the evolving needs of learners. In India specifically, we really do recognise the challenge around helping deliver and create the next generation of high quality teachers to drive that ambition for the country as a whole. And we're doing a lot in India to advance teacher training through a range of initiatives. To support teacher professional development, Cambridge provides a full range of teaching resources such as books and videos and ready-made lesson plans and other resources. We also have a very active teacher community there. Our Teachers of Tomorrow programme has 10,000 members in India, aimed at building a collaborative learning community that shares best practice and resources. And then today, we are collaborating with universities like yourself to launch affordable and accessible pre-service teacher certification, which will help budding teachers enhance their skills while completing their Bachelor of Education programme. Today, really important day, marks the launch of our first pre-service teacher training, which is a short duration course to meet a broader teacher base. This will ensure teachers who are starting after their graduation are better equipped to teach. These initiatives empower teachers at every career stage, aligning with NEP's focus on continuous professional development. The launch of this specific pre-service training initiative is a really significant milestone in our long-term commitment to supporting India's educational future. Our commitment to India is more than just providing learning and assessment. It's about empowering educators, empowering teachers to inspire the next generation of future-ready learners. And there is no more important time, I think, than for us to be able to respond to what's changing in the world, to all the issues that are going to affect education into the future, with teachers that are ready to face those challenges and empower learners to face those challenges. So our collaboration with experts in the field ensures that this programme will offer teachers high quality, practical training, bridging the gap between theory and practice. With programmes like this, we want to ensure that new teachers are fully equipped to meet the challenges of an interconnected and technology-driven world, shaping educational excellence at every level. This is our shared vision, but we can't do it alone. We recognise that we need to do it through partnerships with institutions like you, where we will work to build an education system that nurtures the potential of every learner and makes them ready for the world. So to close, I just want to reiterate that at Cambridge, we see education as an incredibly important path to drive equity and access to opportunity for people around the world. India is key to this endeavour, and working with organisations and partners like you is a fundamental requirement for us to be able to deliver this vision together. So thank you for taking part in this initiative. Thank you for inviting me today, and I really look forward to hearing the amazing things that we're going to be able to achieve together. So thank you very much, and back to you in a minute.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Mr. Rod Smith, for joining us all the way from the UK and also sharing with us how Coupa is working currently and also the kind of initiatives they want to take in the future.
Now, the moment we all have been waiting for, the official launch of Teaching for Tomorrow, a Readiness program. I would like to invite all the dignitaries on the stage, Mr. Arun Rajmani, Mr. Vinay Sharma, Mr. Ashish Arora, Mr. Bharat Agarwal, Dr. Trupti Agarwal, and Dr. Siddharth Jabre. I would also like to welcome Dr. Vasudev Gare on the stage. This certificate course aims to equip new teachers in India with essential skills, knowledge, and a future-ready mindset. It is designed to align with international teaching standards and the vision of NEP 2020. I would request the dignitaries to open the MOU booklet and kindly if you can show it to the audience once. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I request Arun and Bharat sir to exchange the MOU? Sir, please you also carry. Yeah, thank you. That's about it. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, Dr. Lalit, we would like you to shed some more light on the structure and impact of this professional development initiative, which we are taking with Cambridge University Press and Assessment.
I thought she's going to actually say that, why did you stand up? You have to say sorts. Anyway, thank you very much. So this is a very important kind of area that, or a situation where we are right now, to just understand how the whole program or conceptualization of the program happened. So like we heard, the two leaders met and also they wanted to do a kind of a proper structured solution for the demand, which is the pre-service teacher qualification. So that was the ask. And when they started putting their thoughts together, so we started conceptualizing the program, and we included our colleagues from the UK to be with us in terms of give us a proper direction in terms of if we lose out on some of the tracks. Because why I'm saying that is, we also heard Rod saying that we provide a lot of teacher professional development programs, international standard, across the globe. So there is a pattern that we wanted to follow. However, we wanted to have customization, we wanted to have localization, we wanted to have regionalization of this, because it also demanded a lot of other things like credits, etc., etc. So then we moved on to developing a syllabus, because we wanted to understand what the syllabus should look like. Then when we want to arrive at the syllabus, we had already constituted a study in the market to understand what are those areas that we can look at and also start developing any program, effective program that could be very useful for the pre-service teachers. So there are a few areas which came out very strongly to us from the study. So those are the areas that constituted to become a syllabus for this program. The areas would be like how effectively the teachers could integrate technology in the classroom, how effectively a teacher could actually manage a class classroom management itself was an area that came out to us. How effectively the teachers can try different assessment methods in the classroom. So these were some of the considerations that we had. Based on that, we started developing a syllabus and also course materials. We also took a very, very important step along with the guidance of Vishwakarma University. We constituted the advisory committee for this program in the developmental phase, because it's very easy to develop something and also then give it to people to say that, okay, look how this program is. But we wanted to have this kind of a formative feedback mechanism in place. So we brought in people from institutions like TIS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and also people from Azim Premji University, and people like this, and also principals of schools who supported us and also was with us. And we also made it a point that we should have one advisory committee member from this university, which is our Professor Chetan, who actually supported us a lot in terms of bringing kind of a direction for all the steps that we took jointly in this program. Then after we had the syllabus in place and also course materials were in place, we also developed the assessment framework, which is very, very important. We went on talking in terms of how many credits can this course actually offer to the candidates who take this program. And there's a framework that has been drawn around that. So the modules that we developed, there are 8 modules that we have developed along with the internship. So internship becomes a integral part of this program. So each of this module has credits, and also the internship also has credits. So all put together, we are offering 8 credits to this program. And we did not stop there, because it doesn't end, because we wanted to do a very foolproof, comprehensive, and also good quality program. We developed a quality assurance process. So what are those areas that we need to actually fulfill and also make this program complete, and also before this kind of a launch? So Vishwakarma University, all colleagues for that matter, helped us a lot in terms of bringing clarity to us in terms of how this quality assurance needs to be put into the place, and also we follow it up. So alongside, we were also checking all these parameters with the advisory committee group. So they have also contributed a lot for making this program a quality program. So, and if you also see some of those modules and newer technologies that we're talking, technology is not only digital technology. Technology is a newer way of doing things. So if you see those things, we're talking about understanding by design and also backward design. These are the newer pedagogical strategies which are actually seamlessly integrated into some of our international program. But still, that is a call by NEP also. When we closely observe and also look into NEP suggestions in NCF and also documents like that, they also talk about UBD and also this backward designing. So we have consciously, deliberately integrated such designing into the lesson planning and so on and so forth in this short duration program. So as to once the teacher gets this certificate done, this teacher can actually thrive teaching in the same school, and that if the teacher wants to actually move out, and also these aspirant teachers, they can go anywhere. It could include international schools, it would include CBSE schools, it would include the state board schools, anywhere they want. And also their heart is they can start implementing all these strategies that we have brought into this program. One last thing about this program is also about, we have cautiously and also consciously brought in the progression for the candidates who undergo this pre-service teacher training program. What we mean by that is the professional development qualification centers that we offer from Cambridge is being certified by the International Teacher Education Forums. So if there is a movement that we want to create, for example, the teacher completes this pre-service teacher training program and also has an entry point to do a level 3 professional development qualification program that the Cambridge offers. So we do a waiver in terms of number of learning hours for the students who complete this pre-service teacher education program. So in all aspects, if you see, there is a perfect match that or fitment that we have created. It could be pedagogy, it could be progression, it could be assessment. and also it could be the price point as well, because we don't want to do it, we don't want to do a very, very expensive program, but still we want to create these kind of structure for this program. And we are taking, or we are working very closely with the university, and also we are bringing in terms of the expertise of the colleagues in the UK to train and also orient the faculties of this universities or any partner university that we are going to offer, so that we are all on the same page and there is no mismatch between the course that has been developed by Cambridge and also the delivery that has been done by the partner university. So this is the overall or overview of the structure of the program. And I know that we have not taken any questions, so I'm still available here for any of your thoughts and also clarifications that you might need further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lalit Prasad, for taking us through all the significant aspects of the pre-teacher training program. Now we have a short question answer session round where I would like to invite some questions from the audience. We have gotten more than 100 registrations today for this event. And if any of you, if some of you have any doubt, any reflection, any feedback, please ask your questions.
But in person, online, some more details dealing is done and can be shared. Yeah. How many hours?
Yes, so no, that's a good question actually. When I said 8 modules, so we are also thinking of the duration of the program. For theory, it would be 3.5 months, and also the internship we have 15 days. So which makes this program a 4-month program. So that's how we have positioned it. And also when I said 8 credits for the theoretical part, it would be 6 credits, and also for internship it would be 2 credits. And we know that each credit for internship or project based is 15 hours for each credit. So it actually pans out to be 30 hours for internship, and also for the theory part it is going to be 80 hours. So we have modules that are already being prepared in alignment with both a hybrid way of learning. So it could be imparted in the classroom, and also we have specific modules or component of modules which are also based on e-learning method, so that it becomes easy for candidates who are already working or who are doing some other course, or like we are positioning it, they might be in the final year of B.Ed but still want to take up this course. It is all possible. So we don't want to hinder any opportunities for these students or candidates who wants to take up this program. So that's how we have maintained a thorough understanding or kind of a leeway for having this hybrid way of learning from the candidates. Does that answer, Bharat sir? Thank you. Any more questions? Thoughts? You have hand raised there? No. Very clear. Thank you. Oh, please. Can you pass the mic? Of course.
Okay. So my question is this, that if there are teachers from who are already teaching and they come from different boards, is this a good course for them if they are choosing to think about a career transition into IGCSE system? Would a course like this help them?
Yes, of course. So there are 2 parts to your question. So one is if the teachers are already working in a system and also they want to grab this course. Yes, so we are terming, or the title of this course is Pre-Service Teacher Training Program. So we have based this on the new age teaching and also learning assessment that we just spoke, which might be a need for existing teachers also. So I don't want to kind of say or pass a message that it is only for pre-service, but still those possibilities are always there. And the second part of the question is also that you said about different curriculums. So the program or all the professional development programs that we're doing is curriculum agnostic. So that's why I went on saying that teachers who wants to teach any of this curriculum can still take our program. It could be international curriculum or CBSE or state, any curriculum for that matter could definitely take this program and also
No,
get it.
so let me just pause you there. My question is a little different. My question was, if you are in a school which has a different board, right? You are used to a certain teaching methodology, and the IGCSE system has a different methodology of teaching. So would a person who's interested in making a transition across the boards, would a course like this help them? That's the question.
Yeah.
Yes, great question. First and foremost, just to re-clarify, I know it might be a repeat, but just to re-clarify, this is a program that will be applicable to teachers who perhaps are early stage career professionals, or teachers who are yet to come into the workforce. And this is something which is board agnostic, so which means once they acquire the skills that are required, they can get into any board, and to empower them to have the skills that will be relevant in the classroom. They could be in CBSE, ICSE, state boards, IGCSE, IB, doesn't matter, but it will empower them with the skills that they need to be successful as a teacher in the classroom. Now, to your second part of the question that you said, if there's a teacher who wishes to make a career transition after having served a number of years and has acquired experience, then this may not necessarily be the program of choice. What they could do is they could come into the regular professional development qualifications program that we have, which is the PDQs that he talked about. And any one of those programs would help the teacher accelerate her skill sets towards becoming a teacher for an IGCSE program.
Okay, thanks. That's the right answer for my question. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I have two questions right now. First is, how competent will be this course in terms of equivalence to B.Ed course, existing B.Ed course? Secondly, what place does this course finds in NEP? These are my two questions.
Yeah.
I think NEP essentially outlines about individualization teacher training. So this cannot be a replacement for B.Ed because this is a certificate course of 4 months and 8 credits. Correct. So it is not about B.Ed 1 year program in the new age part. So it is neither replacement or it is as Arunji has stated, and these are the skill development program for early stage teachers to develop themselves. However, those 8 credits that will be accredited and endorsed by Vishwakarma University, there is a possibility that there could be equivalence of those credits, and those could be transferred in future as required if they continue with the next level and all those. So that is in the process of accrediting those eight credits. Right.
Thank you, sir.
First, congratulations Vishwakarma University for launching this new course. My question is, what is the fee structure for that?
Zipped.
So fee structure is 25,000 for the entire 4 months duration course, and as it was mentioned, it is 3.5 months teaching and learning, and then 15 days internship part.
Just to reflect on the NEP part, I think the course structure, the way 8 modules are, I would say, crafted, right? After considerable evidence basing. Each of the module, you will see how it is relevant to NEP in terms of the provisions of NEP and the vision of NEP, and how those are relevant to the need that is required, unmet need of the educators out here. So it is well documented part based on the overall experience. So this course co-development of this curriculum has been almost a year-long process. and it has gone through several stages, right? And quality checks.
Of course.
We are a very strict teacher here, called Dr. Lalit, right?
No. I think that's a great point. So the quality was very, very important, like I mentioned, and it was iterative process. So, like I mentioned, I'm reiterating the point. So, in the committee, we also had people who sat in the teacher education NCTF committee to actually come out with teacher education programs. So, we made it a point that they are part of this committee and also give us guidance. So, I think that's how we made the ultimate quality for this program. Thank you very much. So, oh sorry, there's one more.
Good evening, everyone. So, like I'm a pre-primary teacher. Now there will be primary, high school teachers. Is this one course good for everyone?
Of course, the answer is yes. And also, for example, and just relating that back to the B.Ed course. So, is B.Ed course good for everyone? So, of course, yes. Now, I think it's also become a mandate that the teachers who wants to teach 6th standard till 8th standard also need to have B.Ed. So, that's how I think it's all panning out now in the advent of new NEP 2020 reforms. So, this is going to be a course which can sit there along with the B.Ed, and also then if you want to go to pre-primary, if you want to go to any of those levels and sections, it will definitely be very relevant.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, and thank you, Dr. Lalit, for answering all the queries. Now it's time to engage to conclude with this event, and I request Professor Dr. Siddharth Jabde, Vice Chancellor of Vishwakarma University, Pune, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you. It's a great experience, and I'm honored to for my vote of thanks. Thanks are turned to Arunji, and as we were discussing, there was a media interaction just before this, and somebody asked him why Cambridge University Press and Assessment selected Vishwakarma University out of so many universities, because this is the first of its kind collaboration for co-development. And his answer is, with your permission, it was very simple. Meeting of minds, meeting of values, and meeting of ideals. And thanks for trusting us. And with our legacy of more than 40 years, and in the higher education, if we meet along with the school part, we see this as a great synergy and to create this ecosystem. So thanks a lot. Thank you so much, entire team, Mr. Vinay Sharma, Mr. Ashish Arora. And again, I said, Dr. Lalit, because you have been working very closely, and the entire team who has been working for almost a year to really develop, rather craft this part. And for Vishwakarma University and our entire Vishwakarma group, this is not a mere program, it's a mission for us. Because there are 98 lakh, 9.8 million teachers, and our vision, combined vision, is at least contribute by training at least 50,000 teachers in first 5 years. And as Mr. Rod said, it is about the accessibility, affordability, and equity that we want to achieve. Thanks to Dr. President Bharat Agarwal and Dr. Trupti Madam for support, because it's a very easy system for us. It was very simple. We want to work. He said, go ahead and empower. Nothing else. Thanks a lot, Dr. Kapadnis sir and entire team who has been working relentlessly on this mission. Honestly, as a higher education, it is not easy for us to venture into school. We are very afraid of all the principals. Whenever I go for the program in our schools, it is strict. We learn a lot, because that's the first place where the future is created, and we are part of that creation of the future. Correct. So thanks a lot for the entire team, our own principals also. Thanks a lot again, I don't want to miss all the principals here, teachers here for supporting us and being here, because it's not easy being at the mercy of the traffic, being at the mercy of so many uncertainties. But you are here and supporting us. We would like to appeal to join hands in this mission, because we have a long way to go. It is not only Vishwakarma University that will take care of this entire mission, because we have embarked on this mission in tune with Vikasit Bharat 2047 to prepare the human capital and aligned with NEP this entire mission. So I thank again entire team, and all of us, we consider it as one team in our mission. Thank you so much.
We also request Mr. Arun to deliver the vote of thanks from Cambridge team.
Thank you, Mr. Bharat Agarwal, Dr. Trupti, Professor Siddharth, Dr. Chetan, I think the entire team from Vishwakarma University, the eminent educators here for being in the panel. This was, I think, a moment of truth for us in terms of how we conceptualized an idea. And in the Cambridge world, getting an idea conceptualized to delivery usually takes 5 years. And this is the first time that we were able to deliver something in about 9 months. Thanks, I think, to the passion, the drive, and the joint ability for both the teams to sit together, thrash it out and say, this is what we want to accomplish in the larger mission of making sure that we are able to empower educators in India. This is not about a business model. This is not about getting to a point where we can just train individuals. This is about ensuring that, A, we are able to address the skills gap that the education industry very, very drastically faces today. And in our own small little way, can we contribute to the success of the education industry and the transformation of the industry as well? I mean, industry is the wrong word, the segment over here. The other part is also to ensure that we are able to bridge the supply chain, supply gap demand as well. There are a number of schools today that need great teachers. As teachers are retiring and as vacancies come up, schools today are struggling to fill that gap as well. So could this also be a view for us to look at empowering the schools to find the right talent that they've been wanting to look at and to help bridge that gap? So in many ways, this is actually an initiative that we believe will contribute to the cause of the education reform in India, and this is the role that we'd like to play. Thank you again for the commitment and support shown by the Vishwakarma leadership team over here. In the afternoon, I think Mr. Bharat Agarwal briefly mentioned that both of us had met, but he didn't share too much of detail. Unfortunately, the Pune traffic was so terrible that I had to meet him at, I think, 6:30 in the evening. I had a flight to catch at 9. It was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting. I ended up coming about 20 minutes late to the meeting. And he was patient enough to wait for me. I had about 15 minutes before I could, sort of leave for the airport and then catch my flight. In those 15 minutes, we had coffee. I've always strongly believed, never strongly believed in the concept that, startup ideas are born in coffee shops. That's something that happens in Bangalore all the time. People have, coffee in very, very, upmarket coffee shops. I thought that's never going to work. But in that 15 minutes that we had coffee, this was an idea that came up, and we said, could we work together on this? And thanks to him, he said this is something that we'd like to explore, and the team followed up, and we were able to make this work. So this is something where we are very proud that we had the first ever conversation that's resulted in an opportunity for us to look at contributing to the cause of education. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you for being a very patient audience. I know this is a vote of thanks twice over, so please bear with us on that. Thank you.
With that, we officially conclude today's event, but the conversations don't have to end here. And as Mr. Arun correctly pointed out, the power of coffee, we invite you all to join us for networking over high tea and coffee, where you can connect with so many professionals and continue the dialogue on shaping the future for teacher education.
Thank you for participating in Teaching for Tomorrow, a readiness program. Wishing you an inspiring and insightful evening ahead. Thank you all.
The high tea is arranged just outside this auditorium. Kindly proceed outside.
Thank Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.